Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to the Little Acre. So far in this point and click adventure, we've managed as the father to not make breakfast for this child who he seems to be terrified of, and then get teleported to a whole nother world, leaving her completely alone to be the main character that I think we'll be spending the rest of the game playing as. And there is a light danger here of repeated themes and the fact that the reason in part why the father got teleported to a different world, or at least that's what it looked like what happened, is that his father teleported himself to a different world apparently. So, like father, like son, I suppose. Although, so I think what we're gonna do is just make ourselves breakfast and wake up. I like this kind of British animation style, but I do not think that Lily as a character here should have freckles under her face like this and what looks like a messed up nose. Like, same animation styles on the dog too, but it does kind of make her feel like she just ran into
Look,
a
Dougal,
door.
everything's laid out already. I should just make it myself. It's porridge. What could go wrong?
So, we may have to turn down her voice, but maybe not. I was definitely having a hard time getting the full understanding of the father. His timbre was fairly low. So we have some steel cut oats, which maybe not what you want to use for porridge, but maybe. There's actually a lot of theory on what kind of oats you want and what kind of oats you don't.
Big old bag of oats. Prepare to be eaten. Hey, wait a minute. It's empty.
She is.
Okay, I can fix this. All I need is a fresh bag of oats, a new bowl, and then to place a pot over the fire.
Okay. So we are going to seemingly apparently she just started the dress on fire. We're going to seemingly find
easy peasy.
solutions.
What was Dad worried about?
While also causing trouble. Let's see. Now, this cupboard is
Dad
locked.
tried to knot around the handle again. He must be trying to keep you away from the bowls, Dougal.
So we're gonna have minor inconveniences as a child, and
I've never
just
adventured on an empty stomach.
major inconveniences also. Let's talk to Dougal. Now we can use Dougal with the cupboard.
Dougal, attack that string!
So this is... the dog is going to, in a very Looney Tunes fashion, save the day every time we make a mistake. Or every time we try and find a solution. Alright, so now Dougal, go out there and get me some oats.
Hey Dougal, I think someone's at the door, boy.
Not the solution there.
Silly doggy.
See, doesn't seem like there's a way to walk. And usually in a point and click adventure game, the character can just walk all over the place, and that was the case up until this scene. The oats are up here. So Dougal's just not gonna let her get it. Alright, fine. Then we'll tell Dougal to get it.
Dougal probably would have fetched the oats if I asked him, but I didn't trust him not to eat them.
So I think what we have to do here is distract the dog with the door.
Hey Dougal, I think someone's at the door, boy.
And while he's over there, we'll climb up here while he's not paying attention and steal the oats. So yeah, this is cutesy. Like the thing with a lot of point and click adventures is you have something like Broken Sword 1 where there's a terroristic bombing of a cafe. That's how the beginning of Broken Sword 1 starts. And then it becomes an investigation into basically the Illuminati. Or you have something like Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle where it's a comedic violence story, where this seems fairly simplistic with just some comedic elements. And so she's flung the porridge on the roof. Now she's gonna put it on the table and eat it.
Wait till Dad hears I did this all by myself. Hang on. Where is Dad?
And see, there's another achievement. So it does seem very much like you get very limited areas in which you work with very limited number of elements for a puzzle, which makes a really modern, good idea around a point-and-click adventure, where point-and-click adventures have constantly run up and against this problem of them not being, frankly, well designed. And like, you can't really make point-and-click adventures in 2020, and you really couldn't even make them back when they were being made in the 80s for the audience of people that just were getting frustrated and liked being frustrated. I'm not even sure that audience really ever existed. There was excuses back then to stretch out the length of a game, but in a modern day when you can go online and play games for free, and you can play games on the cell phone for free, I don't know where my mouse cursor is, and it's not going to do anything until I click, apparently.
For a moment, I wondered where I was. Then I noticed everything was different.
In this different world,
different,
he's
but it was when I thought of Lily that
kind
it no
of
longer mattered why.
chibi,
Couldn't let her think that she had lost
to
someone
use
else.
the Japanese anime art style reference. And then I just got another achievement. Interesting. They seem to like to hand them out quite a bit. So yeah, the concept of making a point-and-click adventure game that you can just kind of breeze through makes a lot of sense. And the idea of, oh, I may only spend 5 hours in this game and then be done with it is fine with me. It's just that very few people have even embraced or thought about making point-and-click adventure games nowadays, and there's been far too much nostalgia for the old games that barely hold up, and not enough innovation. Whereas if you tried to sell something that was exactly like the original Doom, it probably wouldn't sell that well. But you can innovate on the ideas of Doom, certainly, to get like the Doom 2016 reboot, or you can just innovate to have a game that looks like Doom but runs on a much more modern engine and has a little tweak here, a little tweak there, things that might not be perceptible at first glance that make it a better experience. I guess we won't be playing as Lily the whole time. We'll also be playing as Chibi father. I don't know what his actual name is. We know his father is named Arthur.
Somebody had left their belongings on the floor of the strange room. After glancing over the items, I realized some of them belonged to my dad. So, this is where you went.
This does seem like this might be a world his father is very familiar with. So, we do have the mystery of where the crystals come from and where you get your power from that, and if there's a danger of making too much power.
Dad's pipe had been left behind, and in more pieces than the last time I saw it. No wonder, if his entrance was anything like mine was.
So, broken pipe.
It was unusual to see Dad without his hat, and vice versa. Then again, it was noticeably warmer than home. I decided to take it with me.
See, that hat didn't look fabric. It looked like it was made out of wood. And field notes.
Among the collection of things, there was a notebook, but I didn't recognize the owner's handwriting. A quick scan showed it to be filled with scientific notation, none of which I could make sense of.
And that probably, if I was to guess, is Nina.
A glass jar had been left next to the other belongings, emitting a faint white light. Assuming unusual objects to be important seemed like a good rule of thumb, so I picked it up.
What's weird about the glass jar is that orb inside of it is bigger than the mouth of the jar. So, unless it grew, it's questionable how that got into the jar in the first place. Alright, let's see if we can just open the door. Not so easy.
The door's release mechanism wouldn't function without power. As well as being a fire hazard, it was extremely inconvenient for me.
There is definitely a point where voice acting in these kinds of games do have a tendency to feel like they are just being read without any emotion or without any backstory in a recording booth. Whereas I feel like had this scene been in front of the eyes of the player, of the voice actor, he probably would have not read that line so flatly. I also did realize just now that you can roll down the mouse wheel to bring up the selection.
Placing the jar into the left socket had restored basic power to the lab.
So yeah, mouse wheel brings up and down the options. Let's see what happens when we put it in the right socket.
There was just enough power to distribute to the door release.
Okay.
There was just enough power to distribute to the door release.
I just got another achievement. Seems like 3 in a row is far too
It took a large amount of power to get me here. Logic dictated that it would take something similar to get me home. I was going to have to venture outside to find it. And in the back of my mind, I hoped that I might find my father along the way.
You do have kind of a Princess Bride potential story here.
Dad must have gone to town without telling us.
Where
Oh
this
well,
could just
time
be a
to go to
bedtime
work.
story being told to Lily. And I don't know if I love this idea of splitting up the experience between two characters, because Broken Age did something
Perils are good at
similar
saving people,
to that,
but I never got
although
a chance to save her.
you spent much longer sections between the two characters, and the two characters literally did not know each other to start with in Broken Age. I feel like Broken Age also just under-delivered as a Kickstarter game, and wasn't just well designed as a point-and-click adventure game. The thing about Tim Schafer is he's most notably known for making Full Throttle, or being heavily influential in the development of Full Throttle. And Full Throttle as itself wasn't much of a well-designed point-and-click adventure. It was just a very well-written and interesting different environment for that kind of game. So this evil gnome was supposed to stop her. Let's see what happens.
We meet again. Watch your back, gnome. Dad had probably already checked the post. Nobody ever sent us anything interesting anyway.
So you can walk.
Can't go that way. Gnome is watching.
So we have a literal you can't do it because the gnome is watching, which means you can go back into the house.
Perils are good at saving people,
And then we
but I
have
never got a chance to save her.
a shrine for, I guess, the mother. They have it marked as a shrine when it kind of feels like it's a memorial, like, marker. Here we have a wrench/spanner to British people. And here we have a coal bunker. And found the dog bone.
Right where I left it.
Her lips don't animate when she talks. And there's the...
I took the stretchy rope from the tractor. Every adventurer needs rope.
See, and that, once again, sounded not normalized, where that seemed like that was 4 or 5 decibels louder. Apparently nobody needs to actually watch the sheep. And Dougal doesn't seem to watch the sheep either.
Dougal did his best to keep me out of danger. It was so annoying.
Let's see what else. There's a tree branch.
I'm pretty good at climbing things, but only when I can reach them.
So, use the rope on the tree branch to get to the other
Grandad
side.
would have been proud of my giant slingshot. Ugh. I wasn't strong enough to pull myself back. Dougal, pull me back!
Have Dougal pull her back. He needs a little motivation. Dougal basically is that sheepdog that was always trying to save the
Hopefully
sheep.
we haven't missed any customers.
I think his name was Sam in Looney Tunes.
Dad says we're running out of money. He's doing his best to find a job. He's probably gone to town for that exact reason. So until then, we've got to do our best to help out.
There definitely is a kind of
Breeze,
sad
you didn't
backstory
pay for that.
happening here.
Good thing Wings can't ride bikes.
And see, now she's wearing this
Wait, if Dad's bike is still here, where's he been all morning? I had a bad feeling, and I was pretty sure it had nothing to do with the porridge.
so now she has a wooden sword. Now she has little fairy wings and I think a different outfit and kind of a knight's helmet. Although actually it's just like the face mask of the knight. Let's go and just kill him.
Yeah! With Gnome out of the way, I was free to start looking for Dad. He can't see me without his head.
Okay. But it also kind of put us back in a
I'd
weird...
never run away from home. Besides, there was an adventure to be had.
So it doesn't seem like you can get back to that little shop. That seemed to have been kind of underused there. Yeah, there's
Felt like
this
a dream.
underlying
I was
story
being led
of
down a
them
path, and
being
short of growing
broke.
up into a ball, I was helpless to do anything about it. I considered going back inside and just waiting for someone to find me, but I knew that if I wanted to get back to Lily soon, I'd have to find the source of power for the machine that brought me here, and I wasn't coming back until I found it.
I don't know why the father wouldn't work for the hydroelectric dam unless they literally just went and hire him. Even if, because it seems like there's some level of respect that his father gets from having worked there. But it does also put in a underlying, this is gross, it licked its own eyeball and swallowed it and then popped it back out. There might be an underlying story here of the hydroelectric dam and that corporation that owns it being the only business where you can even get employment in the area. Which, yeah, that's definitely believable. So we touched that. And that made a floating platform that's also powered by more of these orbs. It seems like orb technology is going to be the default. I'm not telling him to jump back and forth. 1, 2, 3, click. That was weird. That was a weird, kind of pointless timing. And I don't get why this is working that way. 1, 2. Like, nothing's sitting on my keyboard or anything. Well, color that is very odd. One, two, three.
It looked like the blue lamp also acted as a door release.
And we've got a big animated creature, which is nice. But we are apparently running into that danger that they may have just run out of budget and we're not going to have much left of a game.
I don't say this often, but it wasn't the time for eating.
Okay.
Dougal, do you think we should have a quick nap? No, you're right.
And let's see. Let's go into the grandfather's room, which we'll just refer to him as that. And then get the bear.
Come on, Sir Fuzzlepuff. I'm on a new quest.
I don't think that's going to really play a role.
I already looked through all of Grandad's clothes. Wherever he went, he took his hat with him. At least that ruled out alien abduction. I heard that's a thing that can happen now.
And the only other thing you can click on is this and this. What does this say?
Huh?
Clonfera.
Line goes down.
And then we can see the pattern.
Hey! How come when I draw on the walls it's a bad thing? I tried getting Dougal to pick up Grandad's scent. No dice.
So it doesn't seem like there's anything more in here. And I imagine we're not supposed to like use the teddy on with the sword. I don't think she'd want to do that. We can look at the picture and see if she comments on it. Nope, nobody has any comments there, which that really stands out, frankly, that there should be some line of dialogue mentioned.
This spinning machine usually only works when Grandad is busy in the shed. Could he be back?
Is there anything different to click on? See,
The handle was shorter than I remembered. Maybe I just grew a lot overnight.
it does feel like
I
you
wasn't allowed
probably
to go into
want
the shed.
to click on
Made it
everything
the best place for playing in.
because, yeah, there's not
Grandad
a lot
would
of extra
pretend
things.
He did everything for a reason, but I think he just liked to decorate.
Yeah. I feel like there still is room, even in a modern point-and-click adventure, for some red herrings. 2 or 3 clickable things around this area.
Grandad wouldn't mind me borrowing a little bit of paper.
Let's see. I guess, to my mind, the thing to do here would be to get in this machine and have it make her bigger and compared to
The lights were already on.
compared to making the father
Wow.
smaller.
I've never seen this thing open before.
Otherwise, if it just all goes in one direction.
Normally I'd jump straight in, but this is something Grandad made. I'm going to need a guinea pig.
Okay. Time for the teddy bear.
Godspeed, Sir Fuzzlepuff. Whoa! He's gone. Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most fuzzy.
And see, they're doing comedy
Dougal,
here,
this must be where everyone went. What if something happened? I need
but
to
it
go after them.
doesn't feel like it's overworked comedy by any means. Can we leave a note in the
I
adventure
thought
mission?
about doing that, but decided not to.
In her default.
Dougal did his best to keep me out of danger. It was so annoying.
We're gonna get the same response every
Before I
time.
go, I should leave a note somewhere so Dad knows where I went.
So where are we gonna put the note? Dougal?
Cook!
And there goes the crystal, so nobody's coming back. Nobody's going through that, and there's yet another achievement.
As I wandered deeper into the swamp, I began to feel uneasy. From the gnarled and twisted branches of bizarre trees to the clamor of unrecognizable creatures filling the air, it was clear I was a long way from home.
I feel like for a 2016 game, there is that chance that this was something that would have been kickstarted or originally planned to be a like originally planned to be a episodic game, and as such I kind of feel like we may be getting the hurried experience because they ran out of budget. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Click over here. And if I click this, that probably isn't the whole solution. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this feels like this might be programmed better now. All of a sudden. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I just have a better handle of it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Now what I think is gonna happen is we'll get over here. 2, 3. Hit this one. And then get over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit that one. One, 2, 3. This is not a point and click adventure at this point. They've added a secondary gameplay mechanic. And honestly, I think that I probably don't even have to time this. And I can see there's something here. And that there's something here. But I can't really click on them. I'm just gonna click and not do anything else. Yeah, he doesn't jump backwards this time, so it seems like the game was just glitched before. And then just straight to the exit. And I feel like there's a decent chance that Lily will just solve these puzzles way easier, or she'll completely.
Oh my god. I'm adorable. I couldn't wait to see what Dad looked like.
So she's now a very small, like almost teddy bear chibi child, which did fix the stub nose
This is Granddad's stuff. I knew
appearance. I don't know why you would specifically
His
go for that
sacrifice will never be forgotten.
Like, I don't know why you'd go through the effort of writing and animating two different styles of the same person, though. Now we've got an animal here. We've got a door here.
The doors had crumbled, and creeping vines had woven their way amongst them. It was hard to tell which had occurred first.
So there was some other paths at some point. Yeah, the only thing I could think is maybe as he's wandering around this world, perhaps perhaps we'll run into a scenario where Lily has to do a different kind of puzzle.
My apologies.
Now we've got a very weird
I
character.
don't see many like you.
Who are you?
Mare.
Mer?
No, just Mare.
I'm not sure where I am.
Odd
Can
that
you
we
help me
have a
get home?
slow zoom out here. It's an artistic choice.
Maybe help each other.
I don't
Come.
hate it.
Sit.
It does seem like this world at one point had humans and temples,
Oh,
but we are
I want to
definitely
live here.
running into a weird situation where this is like a weird alien world that has been like crumbled, and that was a weird situation where we had the guy start to talk to us and give us maybe some backstory of this world, which is an intriguing world, so we do want to know more about it. She just broke it. Interesting. And this time it's just gonna work, I think. Well, sword on tentacle. Interesting. I just got eaten and got
My
a
people
cutscene.
lived here once long ago.
So apparently that's what was supposed to
They
happen,
Had machines kept us warm, safe.
which is a good idea
Now
to not make us play
I am
that
alone.
section over
And the
again.
machines not work.
Well, I'll take a look, but if I do, will you help me get home?
Again, this feels like a
By
bedtime
fixing
story.
Machine, you return home.
So it's the same generator that powers
And this
the
guy
lab.
might be a bad guy.
Okay, show me.
Follow.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a world that at one point was of the same level.
A ramshackle wooden dwelling lay at the edge of the
But
swamp. Presumably
They
it was where
overused the
Mare lived.
power and it got taken over by nature. It seems like there's not much else to click on. There's a statue we need to
Decaying
look at.
statues and old ruins were strewn all throughout the area. I couldn't tell if they were made by Mare's people or some older civilization.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain they weren't made by Mare's people, otherwise they would have horns on their heads. Unless only Mare has horns on his heads for some reason. You kind of have to assume that there was some level of danger. So either the grandfather got eaten by that alligator, or a creature like that, or he got trapped by Mare or someone like him. And I guess maybe we're going to get a very complicated puzzle here, where the puzzles up until this point have not been complicated. And that's maybe why they wanted to slow things down a little bit and give us a...
Next to Mare's toolbox was a single peculiar glove. What is this? Whoa!
Careful.
Sorry.
So we now have a glove that zaps things. Let's open the toolbox for him.
Hey, this looks like my father's toolbox. It is his toolbox. So he's been here. Have you seen him?
Arthur.
You have? Where is he?
Took crystal. Stole crystal. Then left.
Where did he go?
Now, you would think you'd click the toolbox a second time now and open it.
Mare appeared to be using my father's toolbox, although he wouldn't explain why he had it. I didn't want to press the issue. My main goal was getting out of there.
So we have a panel, which is not a door.
In one
apparently.
corner of the room were several flowers laid out in a grid pattern. There was something familiar about it.
Okay, well, we already had a symbol solution there.
It's not accepting the same pattern as last time. I need to find the pattern for home somehow.
Which one might say... Nope, there's a maximum. I was going to do the exact opposite. To assume it was like a two-way thing. Here we have a creature.
A skittish indigenous creature was sitting on the flat surface in front of the pool.
A 4x4 grid of small cubes lay at the bottom of the pool. I presumed it would display the pattern to doll home, but I wasn't sure how.
And I think we can walk over here, but I'm not sure this is going to take us anywhere. It's a big flower.
Somehow, a bluish
Blue
light was
light.
emanating from some of the cracks in the wall.
What do we have to give to the blue flower? Let's go shock the flower.
Nah.
Alright, we can't shock the flower, so then shock the cubes,
I don't think that would have helped.
or shock the creature,
Nah.
or shock the mare.
I've had better ideas.
There's a radio over here I
Does
missed.
this radio also belong to my father? I wondered why he thought it would work so far from home.
Alright, let's go see what the big flower does. The irony would be it would spit out the daughter.
There was a large bulbous plant blocking a pipe at the top of the stairs. It felt like it was full of water.
So, mask
I've had better ideas.
/ hat.
I've had better ideas.
Alright, let's try the mask on the creature. We've done that solution.
Nah.
Alright. This is something you see a lot in point and click adventures, just an unnecessary winding road that takes the character forever to actually walk from point A to point B.
From what I could see, Mare wasn't going to get very far without a power source.
Let's see.
Does this radio also belong to my father? I wondered why he thought it would work so far from home.
We already tried to click on the creature,
A
right?
skittish indigenous creature was sitting on the flat surface in front of the pool.
Is there anything else that we're missing? I don't think you can walk further that way. There's...
From what I could see, Mare wasn't going to get very far without a power source.
Let's see what happens if we do the mask with Mare.
I've had better ideas.
And we see little panels back here, but I don't know if those are supposed to be hints.
I've had better ideas. From what I could see, does this radio... I wondered why he... Mare appeared to be... I didn't want to...
There's a wrench. So we need to grab this wrench when it gets put down. That's a timing thing.
Mare appeared to... I didn't want to press...
But the wrench is not... Like, it's not pick-upable. He picks up this wrench, and then it's gone. And then he eventually puts the wrench back down.
What is this place?
Sacred place. History and future.
Your people wrote this?
Always been here.
And then your people left? When?
100 years? More?
100 years?
See, the guy might he sounds like he's dumb, but he might just be
Whoever had made the engravings
having
appeared to
trouble
understand the
speaking
concept
English.
of traveling to other worlds like I had. They also appeared to place a lot of value in doing so.
And this ladder here doesn't seem to lead
A
anywhere.
4x4 grid of small cubes lay at the bottom of the pool. I presumed it would display the pattern to Doll Home, but I wasn't sure how.
And apparently just I did not get close enough to the creature to
In
scare
front
it
of
away.
the pool of shallow water, there was a small, flat surface. I would have guessed at a ceremonious function, but the entire structure appeared to have purpose.
Okay, well. This now no receptacle.
I've had better ideas. Does this radio... I wondered why he thought... From what I could see... In front of the... I would have...
Yeah, we're running into that problem of things repeating themselves.
I've had better ideas. I've had better...
What else? What else are we missing? If we stand in one place, is there some other thing to click on? Kinda has to be. Yeah, I can't walk back over here. There's kind of nothing here. We could do something along this lines, but it's pretty much just guesswork.
Mare was busy tinkering with the pedestal's mechanisms. I imagined the ancient machines were the only thing that kept him occupied. Mare appeared to be using... I didn't want to prep...
This on the toolbox.
I don't think that would have helped. Does this rate... I wonder...
Let me see if I can right click on things. So we have a small flat receptacle. We have nothing. Unless I'm supposed to use this with the blue light. Wow, that actually worked. I was not expecting that to work.
Careful! Right. The crystal hidden behind the wall looks similar to the one I had seen earlier that day.
So this is a laser glove, not a shocking glove. Put the crystal, and it maybe has some magnetic magnetic properties that brings the crystals to him.
Something happened.
So we
Does
electrocuted
this
him.
radio also belong to my father? I wondered why he thought it would work so far from home.
Let's get the screwdriver now, because he's kicked the toolbox open.
I picked up a screwdriver from the overturned toolbox.
Well, I'm gonna try and stick with this for the rest of the
Nah.
rest of the game, because we kind of, well, no, for the rest of this puzzle.
I don't think that would have helped.
Alright, well then, I think then we use the screwdriver to go stab a hole in the plant. And yeah, we have to wait once again, so if we do this whole walk and it says no, that doesn't work, we need to start to think about what's the secondary use for it. It is also the example of the father being, frankly, a little violent too compared to the daughter. So I don't think the apple falls as far from the tree as he might pretend like it does. See, that's the same pattern, and now we can see a waterfall. Can we get the camera to zoom up? Yeah, there's a waterfall. And it's
In front of the pool of shallow water, there was a small, flat surface. I would have guessed at a ceremonious function, but the entire structure appeared to have purpose.
So I think what happens here is it tells you the location of things. So if we put this in the receptacle, it probably would tell us a different world. And if we put this in the receptacle, it should tell us our world. Yeah.
Placing my father's hat in the receptacle caused the lights in the pool to glow with a different pattern.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. So it was this pattern.
Hey, I think that worked. Hey, what are you doing?
Silence! Mine to take.
Oh yeah, like you should have known he was a bad guy.
Belongs to me. Ah!
I've got to get out of here.
And apparently it backfired on him. And seems like that's all the story we get told to us. I feel like it's slightly frustrating to be
Thank you.
left hanging left and right like this for two different stories, whereas her story alone might be a little bit too short and simplistic, and the father's story alone might be a little bit boring. It definitely feels like there is a influence from Broken Age and telling an A plot and a B plot, but I don't really agree with that storytelling device even in TV very often, because the B plot is often so worse than the A plot, and it just leads to like more hyper people who can't pay attention to something, where you could certainly in the past have made games, and they definitely did make games where you could swap at any point between the two characters, and there were experiments certainly in that, but they never really gained much popularity either. So I feel like what you would probably want to do is something closer to the Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis story, where you're playing as Indiana Jones the whole time. There are points which you can either select to have the female lead companion with you. There are points where you can select them to not be with you. There are very, very brief sections in which you play as the female lead companion, and that's about it. So I could see playing as Lily for most of the story, and then having her ask her father to do something, and that would be the only time that the father would really play. The puzzle we just solved feels like it would have worked just as well if Lily was solving that puzzle. Anyways, we've gone 45 minutes, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.